Hello everybody, welcome to the McNay Art Museum's Family Art Play video demos, where a McNay educator will demonstrate a fun and simple activity to do at home with your family. Thanks for clicking on our video, and let's get started. Okay, so today's activity is going to be a cardboard desert flower, where we will be using things like toilet paper tubes or maybe a paper towel cardboard tube, just like this one here, to make a desert flower. Or you can make a cactus, but I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, so first things first, you will need some kind of craft paint. Any kind of acrylic paint will do, just like this one. You will need a cardboard tube. Any kind will do, just yank something out of the recycle bin. A cup of water for paint. Some paint brushes. Good pair of scissors. And you'll need something, maybe a paper plate or a sheet of wax paper or just a piece of scrap cardboard for a palette so I can daub some colors of paint on here. And then just some paper towel or a dish rag, whatever you want to blot your brushes. So, oh, and last but not least, a pencil. So what we're going to do then is start off with your tube. You can use any size. This is a toilet paper tube, so it's rather short, and it's a little easier to work with. But if you have like a longer paper towel tube, you can cut it in half or make something really fun and fantastic that's that tall. So first things first is to divide it into these like quadrants. And you're going to want to use your pencil and just draw a line that's maybe like an inch or an inch and a half up from the bottom. And that line doesn't have to be perfect either. That's going to be the base for your flower. So you're not going to cut that off. You want to keep this bottom section on, and that's what is going to hold your flower up. And then you could pick a good spot. I think I'm going to use this open spot that doesn't have a big seam or crease going through it. And I'm going to draw my flower. See, it's going to have a little base. Maybe it can curve up there when I cut it with my scissors later. Let's see. I'm going to come up and have lots of spiky petals on it. And it just meets up there. And I'm good with just this one flower, but if you wanted to get a little fun with it, you could rotate and draw another flower, or maybe even draw a small cactus, or you could make this kind of a spiky grass if you wanted to, all the way around instead of just being like a straight line. Totally up to you. So once we have our shape made, you're going to take some scissors and start. Remember, this is the part you're not going to cut. That's your base. So you can start at any point that you feel comfortable and just start kind of cutting away around the image that you drew. And it might be easier because this isn't a flat piece of paper. It might be easier to just cut chunks out, and then it leaves more room for cutting the rest of the shape out, kind of like I'm doing here. And for littles, you might need some help with this step, and that's perfectly fine. But if you have some child-safe scissors and you want to work on your motor skills, please go right ahead and cut away. I think the fun part is also in designing what you want, but if you have multiple tubes of cardboard, which sometimes we do, you could make this flower with me here on the video, and then you could just make a ton more and end up with a full garden. You could make cactus, you could make flowers, could be whatever kind of dreamscape you want to create. So it does get a little bit tricky, but I'm going to go back and cut the rest of that off and clean it up kind of like as I go here. It's pretty rough, you know, doesn't have to be super perfect. And I think that's the fun part about it. So I've got most of the flower kind of cut off. And just because for the sake of time, I think I'm not going to go with my grass texture there, and I'm just going to cut the straight line. But please feel free to like pause the video and cut out your grass texture if you want. No pressure there. Cut that off. There we go. All right, so now I can just keep going along my baseline there. Okay. All right. And I can kind of clean that up on this side there. All right. So now I've got this cool shape, and when it sits on the table or on a flat surface, you'll have a nice pretty flower in a windowsill or something. So now it's time to paint. And I'm going to have my paper here. My water cup is over here off to the side. And I really enjoy some red. So I'm going to apply just a little bit of red. And, oh, this is a new paint tube, so I'm gonna take off the plastic. Put on some yellow. And pink. Love pink. I think I'm also gonna try a little bit of green for that grass bottom. I know there's not too much grass in the desert though, so you could also put a little orange or some brown for the sand or the earth. All right, so I think to start off, I'm going to start off painting my flower. And I really want this to be a swirl of color. So I'm going to start off with pink and just start painting with a pink base. So that's going to be really bright. There we go. Clean off the pink. And then I'm going to swirl in a bunch of yellow. See how that's making like a fun color. I'll leave some of the pink showing through, but I really like this swirly, chunky yellow that blends in with the pink. Looks kind of fiery like the desert, doesn't it? Okay. And then just for fun, I'm going to add some unblended red spots. Those could be flowers, or those could be little spinas from the cactus flower. Okay, this is still wet, so I'm going to be very careful when I hold this, but I'm going to try to pinch it here because I'm going to add my green down here at the bottom. I'm going to wet my brush a little, get some green on there. I'm just going to go all the way around. I might get a little paint on myself, but hey, that's okay. It's the name of the game when it's art time. Almost running out of green, but I think I can stretch it. Oops. Well, sometimes it happens. Let's mix some yellow in there. Maybe this can be like a sandy green. Make some fun textures. Okay. So we can always wash our hands afterwards. But now we have a fun cardboard desert flower. Now this can be used as a crown atop the head if you like, or you can display in a window. You can use as many tubes as you like. You could make cactus shapes. You could make other flower shapes. Yeah, have fun and enjoy making your garden. And click on another video and join us again for another activity. Thank you.